Quick before I start my kick stream, I think should be like considered a fairly normal response to all of this, right? Hey, I played this guy before. Hope you play him good. Hey, you're a great actor. Awesome. Glad you are doing good, right? And then, on J.K. Rowling, it's like, yeah, I don't know if I agree with her, but hey, who cares, right? This is ultimately, I think, like what should be the normal response, right? Like, I don't like I'm a Harry Potter fan. I don't agree with what she said. I have many trans friends. I honestly used to identify as trans myself. So hey, she can have her opinions. I do think they went a little too far when she started denying bits of the Holocaust about trans issues. That was a little wonky. And again, I think the same thing with the Amani Khalif thing, where Amani Khalif literally cannot be trans. You have to be a fucking homunculus with zero brain cells to even fathom the idea that she was born a man, right? I'm also going to be honest. That's what trans is. You're born a man and transition to female, or vice versa, right? And like you're not biologically, a female. You're mentally a female. I guess is a good way to say it, right? They do act a lot like women. Like, have you ever look at the stereotypes for trans people and every joke of male comedian made about his nagging wife? They're the same. Okay, that's my ultimate proof. Look at every married male comedian jokes about his wife, and then look at everyone's problem with trans people. They are one to one, the exact same issues. High suicide attempt rate, low suicide commitment rate. Because the 41% is the attempt rate, not the committing rate. Um, that's actually really low. Men have like 4 times higher than women, and I think like 5 or 6 times higher than trans people, like per capita. Men are the superior suicide committers, but they attempt it far less, right? But we're more successful, right? Yeah, I'm back at man, so we're more successful at it. But that's the thing, right? I had gender dysphoria. I think it was because I was raped as a kid. Honestly, I don't think I don't have it anymore. Started working out, right? But now I am going to say this though, because I'm going to say this. I don't think every trans person is like that, right? I think I was like that because I don't think I was really trans. But not everyone. Like, see, this is my thing. I think it's overdiagnosed. I do not, and I will not ever say I think it's fake. I think there are real trans people and there are fake ones, and we need to know the difference, right? But we also need to not have doctors be studying little kids about that. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, guys. Transitioning little kids is not something you will ever win on. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not gonna happen. Stop it. Get some help. Um, but there are absolutely trans people who are adults who suffer from dysphoria, who it's not from abuse like me, but actual legitimate brain chemistry dysphoria that there is only really treatment through transitioning. I believe there that 100% because it doesn't seem even possible that someone could even have those thoughts and it only be because of abuse, because no other thoughts are purely because of abuse. Depression can be genetic, anxiety can be genetic, all these conditions of thoughts can be genetic, schizophrenia, etc. Alzheimer's, right? So if all of them can be genetic, the idea that none of them are ever genetic, like one of them is just never genetic, makes no fucking sense because it's a disease of thought, right? If we're going to call it one, a mental disorder, it's a disease of thought, and all diseases of thought can be gotten from birth. Most of them can be gotten later in life, but all of them can be gotten from birth. But the thing is, if you are born with this mental disorder, you should not be treated for it other than just have your parents be like affirming and supportive of you and just like be good parents, right? Just the good parents that everyone needs. And then when you're an adult, if you really think that it's, the best, talk to your doctor. And if they agree, then we can talk about transitioning. right? There we go. Is that really that hard, right? And that's the thing. Most trans people who commit suicide do so because they have no support system, right? I think like everyone who has covered this, especially Think Before You Sleep, has had a pretty good answer to it, which is that most of them, that commit suicide do so because their parents kicked them out and they're homeless or they have to do drugs or whatever, right? Which also, if you look at the suicide rates of anyone, it's almost always due to drugs, homelessness, poverty. You get the idea, right? No support system and drugs. Like those are the two main causes of suicide. And the main cause of drugs is no support system. The other cause of drugs is just you partied too hard and you thought drugs were okay, and you could afford them easily, and like everyone was doing them in the room. So you say, well, everyone else is doing it, I might as well do cocaine too. Like that. That's the thing, right? Those are what causes those things. And like I said in on my thing on homeless people, the reason why so many of them do drugs is soda and beer are cheaper calories that you don't have to cook than anything else. And so you get a lot of beer and a lot of soda, right? For cheap. And then because you're hammered, right? Sometimes you want to feel something else, and so you get something that gives you energy, which soda doesn't really either. So you get some marijuana, not really marijuana, you get some crack cocaine, there you go. And then you start getting too high, and you need to get something to low. So you get marijuana to help you low a bit better. And then you're like, well, I need something high again. So you get some, some other narcotics, like I don't know which ones make you high and which ones make you low after that. I guess meth will make you high, right? And you just keep doing that until you get harder and harder shit. And eventually you're on fentanyl and you die, right? And turn into zombie and die, right? And so that's what that's what causes it. Like you just have no support system. Everyone around you is on an unhealthy diet because that's what they can afford. An occasional sandwich and a bunch of soda pop and beer. And you're bored all the time too because you're homeless. You got nothing to do. What are you gonna do? Like you can walk everywhere, but walking eventually will become boring. And then what do you have? Well, no one's gonna let you in the restaurant because you smell like shit. You can't go into a house because you don't own one. And no one's gonna just let you live in the property unless you're in a really good neighborhood, Buster. You can go to a church or a homeless shelter, but you can't stay in them all day. A lot of states have said, no, you can't be a Christian and let homeless people in your church recently. And they're fucking literally in the middle of winter 2 years ago. No, it was last year. There was a priest in Ohio where I was born, got arrested for letting homeless people stay in his church. A First Amendment protected sanctioned area. That means that government has a wall of separation between this. He was arrested unconstitutionally, mind you, because the First Amendment, it's his property, it's his church. Guess what, motherfuckers? I'm gonna be using the First Amendment on this. This is against his religious freedom. They cannot arrest him constitutionally. That guy, it was based on he didn't have a permit for that many people. This is unconstitutional. You want to know why? Congress shall make no law, right, regarding the establishment and free exercise of a religion, right? So they cannot abolish your religious practice, nor can they tax it, nor can they establish it as the state religion, right? That's the other thing that atheists love. But the other thing that they also cannot do, the government, because, thanks to the 9th and 14th Amendment, the state government also cannot infringe on this either. The other thing they cannot do is try to enforce your ability, right, to practice it at the state level or any level, right? So if this is part of his religion, which is factually Christianity, helping the homeless is part of Christianity. If your church does not house the homeless at times like this, they aren't Christian. I'm just going to be honest, because this was the middle of winter when everything was negative 14 degrees, and not all of those homeless men had extreme weather jackets. I can tell you that. People were dying in his state, and they were like, you should let them out because you don't have a permit for this many people. I know it's a violation of your First Amendment constitutional rights, and you own the property, and we really actually cannot do anything constitutionally legally. But we're going to just arrest you anyway because you're helping people, and we don't want you to. We don't want you to be Christian in Ohio. We're a Christian state, guys. All our governors are Christian, but we arrest Christians for being Christ-like. like, like, this is why I hate fundamentalism, right? It's not that I think gay should not be seen as a sin or whatever, right? It should be, but we should actually recognize what sin is, which is unhealthy behavior, right? Look at all sin, right? All sin makes you feel like shit. All sin gives you gives you at best temporary satisfaction, and later in life, especially in excess of all of these, permanent health problems, right? If you're gay, eventually you will have health problems if you continue to whatever those urges, right? Trans, etc., right? Promiscuity, any of that, right? The only like another one is like like adultery. You're screwing around, right? That's unhealthy. Your premarital sex is unhealthy. All these things are unhealthy. Eating too much, gluttony. Yeah, gluttony is unhealthy. Did you know that gluttony is unhealthy? Sloth, laziness is unhealthy. Did you know that you have to actually exercise and do stuff all day? Or at least a little bit all day, at portions of the day, to stay healthy? Did you know you actually have to do stuff sometimes? So like all of these sins are, well, these are unhealthy. You shouldn't do them because in excess, especially because they're unhealthy. And we should advocate against doing them as a moral prerogative, but we should not like make laws against them, except for murder and stuff like that, right? And so when you actually think about it, yeah, you should just say, hey, you should probably avoid doing these things, and it's not really healthy to do it. It's okay if you do it, but don't do it in excess, and we're not going to promote it. And we're not like threatening. Like, how is that bad, right? So yeah, you can be gay married, but we're not going to give you like any financial benefits. We will give you like hospital benefits. Yeah. It makes no sense that gay couples can be pushed out of hospitals. You can't, like, you can be treated in the hospital, but your husband can't see you. Like that's a little stupid to me, right? But like when it comes to the government stuff, like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, right? Like government should not be giving them tax breaks that are supposed to be for people rearing children, right? Because that's the thing. I say I'm center right. I mean I'm center right. Abortion, it's the same way. Hey, abortion, you shouldn't have it after the second trimester. Third trimester is murder. First trimester, I don't care. I don't care. Second trimester, it's a little immoral, but especially later in the second trimester. But I don't know. I don't really know how to feel with that one. It's a little wishy-washy. Third trimester, that's murder. Like full stop. That baby's alive. They have a brain that functions. Get a C-section if you want that out of you. Right? That baby can live on its own. That's not abortion anymore. That's murder, right? Unless it's a natural miscarriage, nuh-uh, that's murder. And like that's the thing, right? I'm not so I'm center right, and I mean I'm center right. Because I'm as far right as you can go on gun issues. Like I'm like, yeah. Yeah, guess what? Good guy with a gun beats bad guy with gun. Like more good guys with gun beat less bad guy with gun any day of the week. Right? That's the solution, right? Good guy with gun beat bad guy with gun. Or another way of saying it, because I always like to do this, I hate the idea of innocent bystanders. For me, the phrase should not be called in order for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. It should be there are no good men who do nothing. Evil prevails because bystanders don't do anything. Because bystanders refuse to be good men and do something. That's what I believe. Good men don't do nothing in the face of evil adversity. They do something, right? That's just how it is, right? If you think something is wrong, you will do something or say something about it. If you do not, right? If you put up with evil, you are evil, right? Now, at the same time though, we got to think what is evil, right? I think evil is violent behavior and ecstatic behavior. Stuff where basically promotion of unhealthy behavior as well as violent behavior. So rape, murder, and like so rape, murder, assault, etc. are violent behaviors. Those are where you should go to prison. And promotion of unhealthy behaviors, right? The government and your schools and all that should not be promoting it. Your parents can, whatever, right? They're parents, right? But government should not be allowed to do that. So government should not be allowed to say soda pop is okay, right? Either, right? It's not just government shouldn't be allowed to say gay is okay. They shouldn't be allowed to say, soda pop is okay. And companies, right, should kind of have to should like when they go above a certain amount, when they receive government money, right? So Walmart, etc., should not be allowed to advertise that soda is okay to drink. They should advertise this is liquid poison. If you want to drink it, you are allowed to buy it and drink it, but we will not ever say it is good to buy. And we will recommend you purchase the water over there instead and link to the water with a neon sign. Right? There we go. Problem health crisis in America solved. Just just push them away with the most obnoxious, you should not buy this ever. This is poison for you. Right? Advertisement. But if it's independent, right, I don't really care. Like, like if Terrifier wants to promote like trans rights, well, I mean to be fair, I don't think trans rights are bad. I think like let's say they have transition of kids in a horror movie, right? Well, first off, that might not necessarily be woke. I mean, look at Evil Dead Rise. The film is one of the most conservative fucking horror movies ever made. And people called it woke because there's a trans kid that dies in it, and there's like a there's a um roadie woman who survives in it, but also look at the message of the film. The roadie woman doesn't want a kid at first. She's a drug addict, all sorts of things. She gets she survives throughout the movie, the only survivor in the movie, because, right? Because she evolves from to want to raise her kid and protect the only family she has left, which at that point is the little girl. That's still a little weird kid, right? But that's the message of the movie, to become a mother, right? And the thing is, yeah, they're imperfect people. They shouldn't have died for being imperfect, but this is a horror movie, right? The entire point of a lot of horror movies, shit, I don't know if I'm speaking. Was I speaking the entire time or not? Like I had a little ram or whatever, fuck up. But anyway, yeah. The entire point of most horror movies is this this particular sin I don't think is okay. So we're gonna advocate against it by having them die a horrible death. This isn't what should happen, but like this is like these are consequences for the sins. So like a horror movie, really the thing about horror is it can't really be woke because what's wokeness in the horror movie, right? Because if all of them survive, they're usually the people who all survive in a group of like a family group are always the villain of a movie, right? Like oh, the cannibals survived, therefore they're supporting cannibals. No, right? Remember that guy's take. And then you have, of course, um, the idea of you know like if someone has premarital sex, right? They tend to get got, right? Um, if someone's gay, they tend to die in horror movies, right? And even when they don't die, it's not say promoting the gayness. Anytime it ever is allowing gay characters to survive in a horror movie, it's usually not the gayness it is, or it's more of the idea of chasing love and what you like. It's owning who you are and stuff like that. Anytime it is, right? It's being willing to admit your faults, basically, or your differences or whatever. That's the point of any horror movie. So you cannot make one woke if you tried, because if you do, it's not horror anymore. That's the cool thing about horror. Like that's why when people said Dead Space woke, I was like, you guys are retarded. All the gay people die. The person who you said was, to be fair, she was talking about girlfriend like the way women do. So women don't say it as I'm lesbian. They mean haha, I'm a woman, we can say this, but boys cannot say boyfriend kind of thing. But she meant best friend. And she was also talking in Isaac's shoes, so she also meant girlfriend in that way for Isaac's sake, but she was getting the shoes for that as well. But she doesn't have a lesbian relationship, is what I'm saying, right? And then they replaced the original Johnson with two characters. So you have the black chick named Johnson, and then you have Chen, who I guess his story expanded a lot, by the way. Johnson's original story is like, yeah, he died at the beginning of the game, and that's it. And the remake, Johnson's story is expanded upon a lot through Chen, who is the person who replaces Johnson in the original game. Um, and he basically is somewhat of a looming threat throughout the entire game up until the last couple chapters, right? And of course, then you also have, the big doctor. So like there are problems with the game that aren't in the original, right? Obviously, I don't know what the fuck I clicked that on, but anyway, obviously, the major problem with the remake, right, is the fact that the shooting is better, but like I feel like some of the upgrades just don't feel like they put all that thought into it from the original base game, right? And the other thing, the one that makes even more sense, right? Um, this is really I think really like kind of about the game. Um, a lot of the animations with that tentacle monster really look like shit. You get a tentacle monster in 3 times it pops up and you have to shoot it, and it just isn't as good as the original, which is an older game, so it's no excuse. Um, Other than that, though, the only thing I can think of is it's less scary because I already played most of it before. Like it's not going to be scary like 10 years later, guys. I already played it. Yes, as a 7-year-old, it scared the fuck out of me. Well, not really seven. I was 14. Regardless, when I was 14, it scared the fuck out of me. Yes, it doesn't scare me anymore. I'm not a little kid anymore. Wait. Yeah, I was 14. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was 14 when it came out, and when I was 14, it scared the fucking shit out of me. It doesn't do it anymore because I'm not 14 anymore. I'm not a little kid, guys. Believe it or not, that's how you know if a game is still scary. Yeah, I mean, if the game is scary, is you have people who actually aren't desensitized to horror yet play it. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna be scared of it because I played them all as a little kid. I wasn't really that scared of Resident Evil 7 either, because it came out when I was an adult. And really, like, I was like, ooh, cool. They got all these horror movie references that they never had before. Got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Chainsaw Fight. Boop, 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 boop. Like, that's what I thought, right? I was like, oh, wow. They got Texas Chainsaw 2, Massacre 2 references in here. That's like poggers as fuck. The Blair Witch Project. Ooh, we cooking something tonight. Like I was a fan of those. I'm not scared of them at that point. So it's like, ooh, little Japanese horror too at the beginning. I'm really loving this, right? I like you had the trailer, which was basically like a supernatural ghost film, like paranormal activity. No, not paranormal activity. What's the one? Oh, with paranormal activity. I was like, hmm, this, hmm, yeah, will freak you out, right? But that's because I already played and saw that shit. I'm just happy about the references. Yeah, I'm not scared because I'm not gonna be, but I don't care. I'm having fun, which is what matters to me, right? I play horror movies because I play horror games and I watch horror movies for fun. I don't get scared of them anymore because what would be scary about them, right? Like, there's nothing scary about a movie because nothing can. It's a movie. Same with games. I don't care that I'm playing the character. Like Amnesia, like The Dark Descent, right? I remember when it was advertised as the scariest game of all time. It was okay. Like it wasn't really like I'm talking about horror, by the way. It's an amazing game. You should all absolutely play it. But as like a horror experience, I had already experienced worse, so I didn't really care, right, about the horror. But it was a fun game. It was a very fun time. The story is great for an indie game, especially. And I love the immersive storytelling, right? You know, and the lack of combat really made me focus on looking at the notes and reading them, seeing what was the mystery, right? But that didn't mean I was scared. That just meant, ooh, this is really fun, right? But that's the point. I'm playing it for entertainment value. I've already been scared. Like, that's the thing. It's not that I don't have fears, I have plenty of fears. It's just games and movies, fiction cannot realize them anymore. Because any of them that I would be able to have, I already have. Right? Existential horror, yeah, I already have had existential dread. It was called being homeless. Yes, being homeless is far scarier than any Cthulhu or Azathoth could ever be. I don't care that you have a zillion eyes and if you wake up, I stop existing, motherfucker. Like, guess what? You can eat my universe for all I care. I'm homeless, bitch. All my life will end anyway. Right? So that's like the thing. You get actual existential dread, and then you stop, like, you're just numb to it. It's like, yeah, I'm sleeping on the streets, bitch. The fuck is this gonna care? Think that's gonna scare me? Think that's gonna scare me? What? How? It's a video game. It's just pixels on my screen. Like I was literally homeless, guys. like, like, and people try to stab me in my sleep. And then like I was squatting at my brother's because he let me one time, and then like have dogs pissing shit on me because of not taking care of his animals. The trash ever. Like I had moments where like I was literally freezing outside, moments from death, and had a family member pick me up, finally seeing me near a grave site. I was ready to die, freezing to death. I had to go to the hospital because I was freezing in front of people's graves, ready and fully fucking willing to be one of them the next day. So anyone who wonders why I can't be scared and why I just find horror fun, that is why. Because I already lived far scarier than any of them can ever be. And that's why it can't scare me. But it doesn't matter because I have fun with it. I don't really care. Okay, this just ain't scaring me, but hey, I mean, I don't really think it should. And that's kind of the thing. Once you have real reasons to feel existential dread, nothing can scare you because the scariest kind of horror is existential horror. And when you experience real existential dread, when you're homeless and have nothing to live for, Cthulhu looks like My Little Kitty Island Adventure, motherfuckers. That dude ain't scary at all. What's that gonna do? End my life? I already wanted to die, right? What's that guy gonna do? Grant me my wish, right? So like that's the thing. Once you've experienced that, nothing's gonna scare you. Except maybe going back to that in real life. Anything else, you cannot be scared. Because you've already experienced the scariest thing you possibly can. Having nothing to live for. And nobody willing to help. So like that's why like horror cannot be woke, and also horror doesn't scare me. It is just fun. Like horror is my comedy. But don't live my life. By the way, I will never, ever, ever. Like I'm like Asmongold on this. I will never, ever, 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 ever request anyone on the entirety of planet fucking Earth live what I lived. You do not have to do that. You do not want to do that. You should not do that. And all our veterans who are currently living the same life I lived, I pray for them every single fucking night. Because those guys are the only people who could ever say that they had a worse life than me in the entire country. God bless every single veteran there ever was, especially the homeless ones. They deserve all our sympathy. And fuck you to everyone who says otherwise. You know, those people are our biggest heroes. And they often have the greatest amount of post-war suffering. You know, I'm just going to be honest, right? Our veterans are mistreated more than every single other group there has ever been, right? It doesn't matter what group it is, black people, trans people, gay people, whatever. They're all mistreated a little bit. Christians a little less, but they're still mistreated, especially in other parts of the world. To be fair, other parts of the world, like being Christian is like you know, basically being like trans in Nazi Germany was, right? Like it's like in some parts of the world, being Christian is the most persecuted thing. But like here, it's being a military veteran, right? That's the most persecuted group there is. So that's why I say, like, you know, America needs to treat its veterans better. Every other group, you know, we could take a loss or two. Veterans, the amount of losses they have faced. You want to know how many losses they have faced? Trump gave them some L's lately. Fucking Trump cut veterans benefits and jobs veterans were doing. Like I'm gonna be honest, right? I don't care if a veteran is left wing or right wing. I care if they fought for my country. So all these veterans are getting fired because you think like they're doing woke jobs and they're wasting money, Trump. Fuck you. Be honest. Those are the ones I wanted to keep their job. Like you saying they're cutting the fat. Okay, you're making veterans homeless, bitch. Come at me, bro. like what the fuck are we on? Like everyone's like praise Trump, praise Trump, praise Trump. What has he done? Like where are the jobs? I see veterans getting fired. I hear the stories of truckers losing their jobs constantly. My preacher, who definitely ain't left wing, is talking about how AI is like dangerous as fuck. And how he sees it creeping into our government every day and it gives him an existential crisis, right? You know, that like I have farmers who are like, you know, feeling a bit and you know, all that, right? It's even the left versus right. Like who the fuck is benefiting here? The right ain't fucking benefiting. The left doesn't seem like it's benefiting either, I'm pretty sure. Who's benefiting from all of this, right? Who's benefiting from these tariffs, right? It's not even like the big companies, because Walmart's going bankrupt. Like, everyone's like, oh, Walmart finally got rid of the Pride stuff. Yeah, but they also are going broke. Apparently, like, maybe they should have kept the Pride stuff. Maybe the gay people would be buying their shit instead of en masse and just supporting this dying corporation a little bit, giving it life support instead of bombing Los Angeles. Maybe that's what. Maybe they should have. Maybe we should have celebrated Pride Month, so you know only a few people would be doing what's happening now instead of every fucking body. All the gay people in on it, Because like, oh well, they cut Pride merch, and like I got nothing better to buy. I'll just buy some bricks and some fucking spray paint cans. We're gonna spray paint them to death. Uh, yeah, the gays brought the gayest weapon of all time to a fucking gunfight. I got the spray can with silly putty. Oh man, it is like why like this is why I'm like it like outside the bricks. I legitimately feel like it's recess school now. You ever watch recess schools? How they throw ketchup and mustard and like mayonnaise and gravy at people and shit. All the school lunch foods that are unhealthy as fuck. Oh yeah, let's throw bologna and mayonnaise at the FBI. That'll stop them. That'll stop them, Joe. That'll stop them, Bob. That'll stop them, Fat Joe. I don't remember the kids' names, but that'll stop them, Barbara and Gordon from first grade. I don't know. I don't know. She looks like Barbara Gordon looks like she was a nerd as a kid, right? Um. So yeah, Barbara Gordon. The fuck, Barbara. Oh yeah, she was right. That is Barbara. I thought she was Oh, thinking of the wife of Doctor Gordon. I forgot Barbara Gordon was Batgirl. She is a nerd though. Like I mean, literally in the end, she's Oracle, and then she becomes Batgirl again. Barbara Gordon is one of those characters where it's like every single fucking comic they give her like some weird shit. Um, and like now they're like it's all canon. So she canonically started being Batgirl because she liked Batman and she was a simp. Then Joker shot her and paralyzed her, so she became Oracle. And then she became Batgirl again because Joker was creeping up on her again to try to do the same shit, and she whooped his ass. But she was like, "Well, I can't jump, so like it would be cooler if I could jump and help Batman again in case this guy tries to sneak kill me. So like I need a bat suit that will make my spine work again." So you got one of those, and now she's like, "Yeah, I'm like the actual first physically disabled superhero that is just blind." And this is another thing, right? Everyone's like, Spider-Man was the first disabled superhero that won Spider-Man comic. Barbara Gordon is disabled. She's in a wheelchair and kicking ass as Batgirl. Everyone forgets that. But we have the disabled superheroes. Barbara Gordon and Daredevil are like the two biggest ones, right? The two very popular ones. Uh, and they were both disabled, and they're both badass as fuck. Right? Oracle is even badass as like Barbara Gordon is even badass as Oracle. She's literally sitting in the wheelchair being a hacker girl all day. She's like the best hacker. Like that bitch, like she makes Otakon look like she makes Otakon and Hacker Man, right? So Otakon from Metal Gear Solid and Hacker Man from Kung Fury, right? She makes those two look like your boomer uncle who doesn't even know what Control C, Control V does. He's like, what's this satanic magic? Sir, how do I right click and hit copy and then right click and hit paste? Wait, Control C, Control V does it? What wizardry is this? Right? And like that's how badass she is in Batman. Because Batman like has to have like the best of everything. He has the best hacker, the best martial arts, whatever, the best detective. He's got the best kryptonite storage, makes Lex Luthor look like makes Lex Luthor want to suck his cock. Has the best Superman. Um, you know, um, has the best girlfriend ever, Catwoman, Selena Kyle. Fuck yeah, best, absolutely 100%. Um, has the probably the only rape story that's good, so it is technically the best. And besides rape revenge ones, obviously, because technically, technically, like the Batman is more of a horror story than most rape revenge movies. Like for those who don't know, it's an entire genre of horror where a woman gets brutalized and nearly murdered to death by being raped and sexually assaulted. And then throughout the rest of the movie, she brutally and satisfyingly, because after you see what's done with her, almost every single time you want her to get her revenge, murders every single one who did that to her. And it is so fucking. You come watching it, not necessarily, but you get the idea, right? It is so fucking satisfying seeing her like tear them apart like they tore her apart, right? Um, and it's like Last House on the Left. Is it a good one? I Spit on Your Grave is a classic, absolute fucking classic. It's a classic, guys. Classic, classic, classic. Um, in all those movies, right? That kind of movie. And there's a bunch of other kind of like Big Will has a good collection of them. I should probably think of like Big Will. So like look at Big Will, right? So Big Will. Big Will. Um a good one that I think a lot of people should watch. Um okay, I gotta go. It's mostly his older ones. He first was the rape revenge guy, then he became the evil clown guy. I forget what he's called now though. But yeah, also wrong turn. Remember when everyone called these bad, and now everyone's simping for the first three more ones. After two, it goes downhill, and by three, it's just bad. But still. Oh yeah, he also covered like the sack of shit films at first. That was the first thing. I think it's Megan is missing. I Spit on Your Grave, Audition, kind of, but not really. I think Irreversible is one. Um, Eden Lake isn't one. That film does not end happy for the victims. This is actually one of the most horrific movies of all time. Like I said, I don't get scared of it anymore. This is the scariest movie there ever is. Just saying. You might not get that scared of it because you've never actually had abuse happen to you. But if you've ever had anything happen to you in real life, this is the biggest horror movie there ever is for you. This is the I suffered abuse as a kid, and this was my life at one point movie. This is how I actually felt life would end for me at one point. This is that movie, and it is objectively, if you have had ever actual abuse happen to you to where you felt like this, you love this movie. This is your favorite. This isn't your favorite horror movie. This is your favorite goddamn movie, and this is my favorite movie. This is my favorite movie. You cannot take that away from it. It will never change. There is not ever going to be a better movie than this for me. Um, Jennifer's Body is kind of one, kind of right. The House That Jack Built is not one, right. It's a good movie though, great movie. Ins, yeah, I forget, but anyway, it's another one. I swear he had more than just the Spitting Your Grave and stuff. Oh, to be fair, yeah, it probably later, right? Maybe he covered them after his bunch of clown films. I think that's what it was. Or did he have to get rid of them? Oh, Wolf Creek. Revenge, right? The Revenge is one. Shattered, I think, is one. Uh, Not Hills of Eyes. VHS. And a couple of them in VHS are like I think the first film in the VHS series, VHS movie is yeah, it's an anthology, so there's multiple films. Yeah, that's one. I forget if Tomahawk is one, right? Trick or Treat has one anthology that is in it. That's the one that's in there actually, funny enough. Um, Girl Next Door is not one. Like Eden Lake, it should be, but it's not. Funnily enough, this is the only horror documentary where the things you see in the film are less bad in real life. So for those who don't know what The Girl Next Door is, The Girl Next Door is based off of a book that is based off of true events where a disgusting piece of shit and got like abused her daughters and sons, forcing them to rape and abuse their older sister until she died, and and continued to abuse her other daughter as well, constantly throughout all of their lives, and eventually got arrested and finally died in prison, right? But this movie, right, is based off of a book, which is its entire point of existence is someone heard about this on the news and felt so bad that there was not a single shred of any positive moments in this girl's life that he made up a story where someone was there, that she actually had a moment of happiness in her entire life. The book is only the only things that this book makes up is that she smiled at one point in her life. That's the fucked up part about this. Like this real story is like the actual story makes the movie look like Hello Kitty Island Adventure 2. This is the most fucked up thing that happened in real life, you know, that is just like involving a person. Like outside of literal genocide, this is the most fucked up thing you can ever hear about. Like look up the true story of the Girl Next Door horror movie or horror book. You will want to like end humanity with it. You'll be like, this will make you Hitler. Like this is the most disgusting bullshit. And this is the only thing that was made up is that there was a guy who was friendly to her at the beginning. That's it. There was a guy who was friendly to her and made sure she had some moments of joy in her life. The only parts that are made up is the victim of this movie's smile, her joy. That's all. Damn, right? Uh, but yeah, a lot of these movies are kind of shitty, and a lot of these movies are kind of cool. It depends on the movie, right? I will say this: this has got me like to see like a ton of movies that you would never see normally, right? And yet, a lot of these movies are extremely fucked up. Um, and a lot of these movies are like, okay, yeah, who cares? Like a Terrifier 3. Like, the funny thing is, Terrifier 3 and Substance and all that aren't even remotely close to the worst movies on this list. I mean, granted, you know, this is the thing. Everyone talks about, like, the movies, like Dustborn, right? Did everyone forget this movie existed? Like in Serbian film, they talk about the same shit that except they kind of like show like obviously it's through VFX and shit. But there's a scene where they say no more. This is, and people were okay with that, right? Like they were squeamish at seeing it, but a lot of kids in my school saw this. I never did. I heard about it and I was like, no, I'm not seeing that. But there were little kids in my class that saw this and would brag about the contents of it and seeing it every fucking day in school. If you know what's in this movie, no kid should have ever seen that. Like everyone's like, Human Centipede. This is this like these two. Nuh-uh, these two, worst movies ever made. Like everyone's like, oh, we need to see. Like, you do not need to see these movies. Um, these movies, I don't know if they are even legal to be seen anymore. Um, like it's like this is the thing. It's not that I'm squeamish. Of like what's in them. I'm squeamish of I see them and you know some like I see them through some form and some like like some how like the FBI open up is gonna happen while I turn it on. These are that fucked up. It's not really like it's basically I'm not even like I've heard enough about them that I'm not sure it's legal to see them. That's how fucked up they are, right? And people are like, "Oh, Terrifier 3." They use special effects for anything involving kids in that movie. That's like they probably do in the other movie, but I don't know. I don't know what they do in Serbian film. All I know is I'm not seeing it ever, right? And again, it's because I'm afraid there actually are real life consequences to watching that movie. It's like Cuties. I don't want to see it ever. I'll put up with this butthole mouth instead, you know? Right? Oh yeah, this one's funny as fuck. But that's ultimately the thing. Some of these movies, it's just like, how the fuck were these ever legal to make? And in other movies, it's like they seem like they're really bad, and then you watch them, it's like, what the fuck was this? I heard like this was horrible, right? But when you hear about them being horrible, it's like Eden Lake or the other one, but it just has no resonance with you. So like there'll be people who are like, like Mars is it's the scariest movie ever, and then you see it, and then I see it at least, like, eh, it's cool. It's all right. Like I didn't even have fun with Mars. It's kind of boring. Like like it's scary. What? And am I watching the right movie? And this is ultimately the thing. Like a lot of these movies is like, what's scary about this? Like, because you just can't like think about it that much if you don't have trauma about it in your life. And this one's more of a comedy that just well, this one's scary because it sucks, right? um, yeah, Killjoy's just a bad movie. But anyway, yeah. Have a good one.